The Marvel Cinematic Universe always expanding, people seem to ask the same question. Where do I start? Well, the beginning is normally the best bet.
Super Ginge!
Welcome to the world of Super Ginge, my friends. The Infinity Saga lasted from 2008 to 2019. 11 years of laughter, tears, and a whole lot more emotions. 11 years is a long time to be invested in a franchise. There's also a lot of hours of content watching. Because we've progressed so far since the Infinity Saga came to a close, I know that a lot of people are understandably confused and maybe a bit scared to try and catch up if they need to. Or, if you were like me, when I first got together with my wife in 2013, she had never seen any superhero content and I wanted to educate her on it. She didn't want to sit through all the movies, which was totally understandable. I'm pretty sure she would have dumped my ass if that was the case. So I started working on the abridged version of the MCU. Short but sweet synopsises of the films that were already released at that point, so Alison knew what she was getting into, and we could still form that magic bond that we have today. So I thought this would be a good introductory series to do for Super Ginge, especially now that the Infinity Saga has come to a close, and I could do one in 3 distinct parts. Phase 1, Phase 2, and finally Phase 3. This will be an extremely short and sweet version of each film. I'll give you enough of the basics so you know what you're getting into, who the main characters are, and a very brief spoiler-heavy synopsis of the plot. So let's dive in, shall we? Movie number 1, Iron Man. Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist Tony Stark gets blown up, has to get an arc reactor put in his heart to keep him alive, escape a bunch of terrorists, comes back a changed man and wants to dismantle his weapons division of Stark Industries. Jeff Bridges' villainous character does not want this to happen. Honestly, Obadiah Stane is a really forgetful villain at times. They clash, Stark reveals to the world he's Iron Man, and we get an end credit scene from Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury, here to talk about the Avengers Initiative. If that accent was deemed racist, I deeply apologise. The Incredible Hulk. Honestly, you could really skip this one, it doesn't really have any major effect on the plot. Edward Norton is Bruce Banner, soon to be replaced. The actor, not the character. Becomes Incredible Hulk. Tim Roth plays his rival Abomination. They cause a lot of destruction. Post-credit scene with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Iron Man 2. Tony Stark's back and he has alcoholism. Don't worry, they don't go into it too much. Also, his best friend Rhodey is replaced. Again, the actor, not the character. We have another forgettable villain in the term of Whiplash, played by Mickey Rourke. I want my bird. If that accent was deemed racist, I deeply apologise. Iron Man's in self-destruct mode because the arc reactor inside him is slowly dying. He somehow creates a new element which is able to fix his arc reactor. Rhodes finally becomes War Machine. Big battle with a villain. Oh, and we also get Natasha Romanoff's Black Widow introduced. I know that seems sexist that she hardly gets a mention there, but don't worry, she becomes a very key part of the series. Thor. Welcome to Asgard. If that accent was deemed racist, I deeply apologise. This is where we start to bring in a bit of the mythology. Thor is the son of King Odin and who should be the rightful heir to the hammer Mjolnir. Thor's essentially a college frat boy in space, acts like a complete douche nozzle, gets banished to Earth until he becomes worthy to lift the hammer. His brother Loki, played by the magnificent Tom Hiddleston, finds out that he's actually adopted, yells at his dad so much he puts him into a coma, and tries to go on a murderous rampage. S.H.I.E.L.D. gets introduced for the first time in the MCU, including my own personal fan favourite character, Agent Phil Coulson. We also get a cameo from Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. Oh, and there's some love plot thing with Natalie Portman's Jane Foster. This time it is worthy to be brushed off because all she is just there. Honestly, no wonder Natalie Portman was ticked off by it. Captain America, the first Avenger. Now this film gets a lot of undue stick, and it really shouldn't. We get introduced to Chris Evans' interpretation of Captain America. Starts off as Steve Rogers, a grown man's head CGI'd on a little boy's body. That really sounds wrong when you say it like that. He gets chosen to take this superhero serum and becomes a male Adonis. It's set during World War II, so he goes to fight the Nazis. Has a love interest with Haley Atwell's Peggy Carter. Now that is how you do a female character justice, ladies and gentlemen. His best mate, Bucky Barnes, falls off a train and dies, and he fights the villainous Red Skull, played by Hugo Weaving. Oh, he's also a commander of this splinter cell called Hydra. You'll find out more about them at another time. In order to save the world, Steve has to crash a plane into the ocean, which would likely kill him. Then he wakes up and apparently everything's fine. Or is it? Turns out he's been asleep for 70 years and he's now in the present day. Peggy Carter is an old bird and he's being recruited into a war. Which brings us to Marvel's Avengers. The first Avengers movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and boy is it good. Yes, it's directed by Joss Whedon and there's a bit of controversy now around that name. But trust me, at the time he was God of the Nerds. Ed Norton's Bruce Banner, mind I told you about him? He gets replaced by Mark Ruffalo, who is fantastic. The story premise is the same for any kind of hero team-up movie. Bring heroes together such as Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Nick Fury, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, to fight the villainous Loki and his alien army that's trying to take over Earth. They all clash because they don't trust each other. Phil Coulson dies in the line of duty, and that unites the Avengers for a common good. There's an absolutely kick-ass fight scene. Tony Stark makes the sacrifice play to save the world, and then they all go out for shawarma. And then we get the ultimate tease. Thanos is coming. At this point in time, you just think he's a big purple dude with a weird smile who wants to court death. So that's the abridged version of Phase 1. I told you it'd be quick. Hope you've enjoyed this little experiment into my abridged versions of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And until next time, my friends, I'm Super, I'm Ginger, and I gotta go. Bye!